now. Okay. All right, so the meeting is called to order at 6:05. And just for the record, we are meeting all via Zoom. And this is under dispensation from the governor. That was a rule that originated during COVID and has since been extended. Okay, welcome everybody. Um, Dara will not be joining us today. She sent me a note saying that she is on medical leave until the end of October. She didn't say anything more than that, but I assured her we would forge ahead, and I'll copy her, of course, on all the communications. Mhm. At this
Art,
point, yes, go
I have a
ahead.
question.
Yeah,
So currently are we one, two, three, four, five members total?
we're sort of in between. We are six members actually, but that person will need to be sworn in at town hall before he can join the meetings. We have
Did we meet him previously or did that
no,
person? No.
no.
Okay.
This was an somebody we have not met. We actually had two new appointments last week, but again, one of them dropped out even before the first meeting, citing health reasons. So anyhow, Angela will be looking for more candidates for us. She and Samantha will will be attending the um, town block party and will be using that occasion to talk up membership.
And
Uh,
who is Samantha?
hmm?
Who is
Samantha
Samantha?
Giffen is the town's
Oh,
manager,
all right.
website manager.
And wasn't there someone else, I forget his name, who joined us once?
Yes, he
But
joined us once and then wrote and said that he was withdrawing. No
oh,
reason given.
okay,
His name
okay,
was
thank you.
His first name was TR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
thanks.
He was
Thanks for the
just at the July
clarification.
meeting. And reminder for everybody, we did not meet during August. We had problem getting a quorum. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Clean things up a little bit here. And I'm going to go to look first at the agenda for today. So as usual, there's some updates here. Then I do want to talk a little bit about Electrify Amherst. So we are getting submissions. They're coming in. Want to give a brief summary on For Want of a Nail. And I want to raise a new topic, which was actually among the possible volunteer topics that we looked at in July, which is to look ahead to potential future public art sites in town. We will then get to the public comment section of the meeting. So I'm going to turn first to a look at the minutes, and I hope people have had a chance to look through them. I will talk through them very quickly. So we did have two new members in July, Matt Watkins, who's been hard at work ever since, and T.R. Rosenberg, who excused himself, needed to withdraw. Um, Shares update. As of the meeting update last month. I was still waiting for responses from Paul Bockelman on some questions. I will give an update on those in this meeting. And I did write a summary to everybody couple 3 weeks ago, summarizing the meeting I did have with him. Okay, so last time we did discuss the project manager position and the advisory committee. Basically, without reading the whole paragraph here, I'll say that we reaffirmed our belief in the importance of having a project manager and of having a well-selected advisory committee. We don't know exactly what procedures the town manager intends to follow to make that hire and to populate that committee. But I will talk a little bit more about what transpired in the conversation that I had with him and that I wrote in those notes to you all. We also did a bit of a briefing on the percent for art bylaw, mostly for Matt and TR's benefit there. Okay. We did also review some of the names that we had accumulated as nominees, potential nominees for the Percent for Art Ad Hoc Committee. We had an Amherst citizen join the meeting, and she had 2 points. She wanted to endorse and encourage the For Want of a Nail project, and she also advised us to take good care in drafting a charge for the Percent for Art Advisory Committee. We had a brief discussion of potential topics for individuals to work on. At the member's suggestion, at Lynn's suggestion, I sent a chart afterwards. I'll show that again in just a moment. The chart of potential projects. I was asked to assemble and distribute some information regarding For Want of a Nail. I'm working on that, but I have to say I haven't finished it yet. I'm trying to be very careful. We discussed that for almost a year, so there's a lot of email and minutes to go back through. I want to try to get a nice, succinct, accurate summary that we can use and that we can post for public access for those who are interested. And I note here, as always, that there is a video recording of the July meeting available at the link here. Do people have additions or corrections for the minutes?
I'd recommend that we approve the minutes.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion. We have a second?
I second.
Okay, Lori seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, it passes. Thank you all. Okay.
Tom, had you said you forwarded the agenda for today?
Yes,
Okay, I'm kind of looking for it.
Okay, I sent the agenda. All right, here, let me go back. I'll just Matt, did you get a copy of the agenda? I'm sending Lynn one here now.
No, not via email.
Hmm. Okay. That should have come, usually the agenda usually also comes with the invite from Angela, but okay, Lori has it. Okay.
Yeah, I only received the invite and then the reminders from Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Matt and Lynn, if you would check your email now to see whether a copy of the agenda just came across.
Nothing yet. Oh, there it is.
It is.
Yeah, I've got it now also.
You
Thank
got
you.
it, you've got it now too?
Yes.
Lynn? Well, I'm sorry for whatever that glitch was. Okay. Okay, so chairs updates. As I was mentioning before we actually got rolling on this meeting, we had, oh, I guess 2 to 3 weeks ago, uh, interviews, total of 4 people. We selected or recommended two to Paul Bockelman. And so 2 offers were made. One was accepted. And that person needs to finish the bureaucratic steps to be official to join. The other
Mhm.
person withdrew. Okay. Working on one of the volunteer projects, and here I'm going to switch for a moment to this is the chart that I sent back in July. And Dara had volunteered to continue working on the mission and policies document so we can finally get that finished. Lynn is going to take on the role of liaison for APAC on the ad hoc committee. Um, Matt and Lynn have stepped forward to work on web pages. And in a moment, I'm going to ask Matt to give an update on a meeting, well, in progress, such as it is that we've had in talking with folks at town government IT. Matt has also volunteered to work on documenting our process, and our uh, process going ahead, and a little bit of the history of what APAC has done as we've worked to implement the bylaw for the first time. I tossed out some other suggestions here. One is on future moves we might make on funding. This has social media here as a separate topic. That's really being folded in as Matt will discuss for putting social media and website in the same conceptual box. Inventory of public art is open. And the one that I have added most recently and would like to discuss a little bit later on in today's meeting is the idea that we would look at ideal sites for future public art in Amherst. That was a suggestion that I got from Paul Bockelman. I can talk some more about that. After this meeting is over, I'll send everybody a refresher copy of this spreadsheet. Okay, Matt, could I ask you to give a sort of an overview of the conversations you and I have had? And by the way, Lynn, we need to bring you up to date and into the conversation here as you also volunteered to work on the topic.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember the date. First we met with Tom, two of us together, and then we met with some IT folks from the town, as well as Angela, to kind of talk through. Initially, the conversation is around updating the virtual tour of Amherst with the map and the points of interest that you can navigate through on the webpage that has photos and physical locations. And that kind of expanded, at least in my mind, and I think a little bit in Tom's mind, to say, is this an opportunity to streamline some of the functions of the digital presence that APAC has? And after that conversation, we had a chat with the folks in the town, and they kind of clued us into some of the challenges that they're facing and the sort of limitations that they have with the pages. The key one being the underlying framework that the map relies on is completely deprecated, meaning that it's not supported anymore and could basically no longer work at a moment's notice, depending on if something changes. The town is also kind of working to meet a new accessibility deadline that the state is requiring of the website. And that tool that we use to serve the map is not fully web accessible.
Yeah.
So we talked through a number of different options, one of which that the town put forward, and I actually lost track of it, Tom. I don't know if you have it bookmarked, but I think it's a Greenfield Arts Council has kind of their own Google map that they populate with information. It wouldn't have the same kind of in-depth functionality that the current map has, but it would allow us to be able to add and remove sites and add and remove information with the approval of the town. So going down that kind of rabbit hole, the way we left it with the town is they were going to come back to us with an export of the information that currently exists in the tool that serves the map, and that would allow us to create a Google map that we can work on collaboratively, add or remove places, and then with the town's approval, embed that on the website and allow for kind of an expanded view that would take you off the website, thus kind of stepping to the side of the accessibility requirements that they're going to be tasked with.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
What's the format that the website's created in? What's it?
They use a platform called Civic Plus to serve like the entire website. Is that what you mean, or are you talking about the map?
Yeah, like I'm used to working on Drupal sites. So I just don't know what the.
I have no idea what the underlying framework is of Civic Plus, but it's one of those kind of CMS platforms that has certain types of modules and certain types of like pieces that you can add or subtract to. And I think you can spend time to kind of poke around the rest of the Amherst town site or other towns in Massachusetts to kind of see what's possible, but it is.
So it's used around the state for towns. It's kind of designed for that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And Samantha's the gatekeeper of the content?
Samantha, Angela, and his name escapes me. I'm so rude for forgetting it. He was so helpful in IT. They're kind of
Yeah,
responsible.
I think it was Mike.
Yeah, Angela can do most of the text-based updates if we want to change things and maybe reorder things on a given page. I think to do things like edit the sidebar or edit forms or links, we'll probably need Samantha.
Yeah.
Yeah, within
And-
the.
Mhm.
Go
And
Then
ahead.
do they,
there's one more layer, Lynn, that addresses your question, and that is that the map is generated by a tool within the suite of software that's associated with ArcGIS. So I suspect that the actual data are kept inside ArcGIS. So
ARC, GRS,
hmm?
ARC?
ARC, yeah, it's a geographic information system, and it's pretty much the worldwide standard for those. And it has a suite of accompanying or amalgamate, included software. And that that piece of software that is handling the publication of the tour to the CMS system, that is being deprecated. That's what's being deprecated
Yeah, I understand that.
and could stop. So they will build. They're most likely going to build a new map using the updated tool within the ArcGIS set. But what that's not entirely clear, and so we're going to wait and see what kind of mock-up or prototype
Mhm.
they can come up with, and then all of us can take a look at that.
In terms of the other parts of the site, though, the content, uh, do they want a Word document? What are they, how are you working with updating that? I mean, in my mind, I was gonna like kind of somewhat deconstruct the site and try to download the contents that's there and then put it in a Word document, and then edit it and then give it back to them and tell them what URL it goes to. But I don't know if that's how they work. Did you get a sense from?
I think we can determine that process a little bit for ourselves. We haven't fully broached the subject of kind of reformatting that content. My
Okay.
intention was to kind of, and I have, and I'm happy to share this as well, take a stab at it, get feedback from everyone on the board, make sure everybody
Mhm.
can weigh in, and then chat with the town about the best way for them to receive that information. Because I think they have a lot of limits based on
Okay.
Civic Plus and whatever we can provide essentially to make it easy on them.
Yeah, that's what
And
I was thinking.
yeah,
Okay.
Lynn, I don't, if you went ahead as you're proposing, I don't think that work would be lost, no matter
Mhm.
what the outcome is. I think it would be a gain for us to have it pulled together into one place and to have, fresh eyes look at it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
for example, uh, the the set the set of pages that are the featured artists, um, there's a lot of good information and some good illustration, some good images in that section, but I have no idea really how and where that is stored and what it would, what the process, the technical process of updating that would
yeah.
be.
I,
And
I I
yeah,
think in sites that I've worked on, well, particularly at UMass, I mean, they have a format that you have to stick with,
yeah,
like your what's in the
mhm,
banner, and I don't know what their ability
mhm,
to change things is, or
mhm,
what we would be allowed to change if we decided we wanted a different section header or something.
yeah,
So maybe that's a question for Samantha. Well, we'd have to, I guess, know what we wanted to do. I mean, based
yeah,
on if we looked at the mission, our manual that we're trying to put together, our mission statement stuff, how does that break down into
yeah.
headings and things like that?
Mhm.
and
Tab.
I have most of the content in plain text and images pulled down already, and I'm happy to
Uh-huh.
share that with whoever
Yeah.
wants it. Yeah,
Matt, why don't you send that to everyone? Um, at the same time, I think, Lynn, I would say that that's a good piece for you to pick up and work on there,
Oh, yeah,
applying.
if you've already pulled it down, that's terrific, because
Yeah.
I'm just not that familiar with, I haven't
Hmm.
been part of the organization long enough to
Yeah.
know all the stuff. So I really need to read through everything and understand it.
Yeah.
And in the plain text,
Uh,
it's gonna be easier, I think, or the
okay.
combination.
I also understood, Tom, that the mission was undergoing a change already, and I don't know where that exists or where the updated version might be. And that might be useful to include because I think we know
Mhm.
that we're
Yeah.
gonna want to include that on the site too.
Okay.
And that's part of what Dara is working on, but we do have a pretty well long draft. So
Yeah.
we should get that.
Okay. So I will I will share that, and that can be added. The the mission document that we've been working on, I think we have recognized that it should be, we should envision its web presentation as being its uh, primary format. And so it exists as a text document now, but will need to be broken down into a well structured set of web pages. Well, structured sounds a little bit overstated, just, you know, divided up into um, the formatting and presentation um, protocols for ease of reading. Matt, just in a word or two, we've wrestled with the idea. We've gone back and forth over more than a year, um, about finding the right balance of being thorough in what we write for mission and policies on the one hand, and on the other hand, needing to make that same information suitably accessible, appropriately accessible for the people who will actually look for it. So and that will be various profiles. There'll be us and future members of APAC, possibly other people in town government. On the other hand, artists looking for guidance, guidelines on what our policies are, what our programs are, and uh, and then just general public, worldwide public, anybody who wants to see what's going on with public art in Amherst, so they don't have to read a long formal document. Anyhow, that's more long-winded than necessary, but we're trying to strike that balance. I think now is a great time for us to put that document into the mix of things that we'll be looking at.
Yeah. It seems to me it could be separate pieces too. I
Hmm.
think, the
Hmm.
website has only a handful of functions, which is to kind of quickly tell people what we're about, give them information on where they can learn more.
Hmm.
And I hear what you're saying, because I think like the information about for current board members, future board members, or town, that could be
Hmm.
answered by the
Hmm.
sort of open-ended question we have with Angela about how do we get a central repository for all of the documentation for the people
Hmm.
that need it. Maybe doesn't need to be on the public website in its full
Hmm. Right.
length.
Hmm. Yes, I think that's exactly uh, equivalent to what I was trying to say. So that while we were working on it, we wanted to think about and decide on a full range of topics and ideas, but that we came to realize does not dictate that it be a single document or a single presentation. Okay. All right. So Matt, if you would share the plain text, and Lynn, I would suggest that you and Matt get together offline to meaning outside the scope of this meeting to
Mhm.
just kind of share some thoughts and some experience, and the two of you can work as in tandem on this. Divide up tasks as you wish. Ask the rest of us questions as you wish. And
That sounds good to me.
okay, good. Thank you. Okay. So another update item here was percent for art. Uh, so going back to the meeting I had with Paul Bockelman, there were two topics really. One of those was the position of project manager, and the other was the composition of the advisory ad hoc advisory committee. On the project manager topic, I was a bit surprised that uh, he showed some reluctance about it. Um, I think he has some concerns about its necessity and about its cost. I told him that that was a first principle with us, that we thought that was the most important thing to be getting. He acknowledged that, and he said that he would feel better once the uh, ad hoc advisory committee were populated. And I think at that, before coming to a decision on the project manager position, I read that to be that he needs really some more backing to go ahead with the suggestion as we have it. Now, don't hear in what I'm saying any backing off on our part. I still, myself, and I think all of us firmly believe that that position is absolutely critical to the good conduct of the project and also for APAC's ability to do its part in the project as per the bylaw. Uh, so populating uh, the ad hoc advisory committee is his next step. He said that he intended to do that in this month. He had some other committees to populate before that, but I'll be checking back with him as soon as tomorrow, try to get confirmation of when that will be. My expectation is that we, APAC, well, first of all, how will this work? The town will put out an online call for participation in that committee, and will um, have an article written in the Daily Hampshire Gazette calling attention to this project and to that call for participation. So those responses will come back to him. It's fully my expectation that we, APAC, will get a chance to review those responses, make our comments and recommendations on them uh, for his approval. So that's the way I foresee it going based on the conversation that I had with him. As I said, I'll be asking him tomorrow for confirmation on the timeline, and I'll also put in writing what I just said about our expectation that that we will be asked to advise on the choices. It's also my thought, my intention to send him the list of people that we discussed here within the commission, particularly the people that we interviewed for the professional side of the committee.
Mhm.
Another point from that meeting is that Bockelman said that he would like to see at least two members of APAC on the advisory committee. I didn't make any commitment on that point, but I certainly have no objection to that. So if there is a second member among us who would like to join Lynn on that committee, um, you should think about that and speak up at some point.
I will definitely think about it.
Okay.
I will too.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go on to talk. I'm keeping two eyes on the clock. Um, to talk about Electrify Amherst. 2 weeks ago, a call for submissions of plans to paint 3 more. The electrical boxes went out. The call has a deadline of next Monday, the 22nd. I've received, I think, 5 submissions, 5 or 6 relayed by Angela. And so I'll continue to collect and paste those together into a single document, which I will then send to you all next Monday. My thought is that I would like to get a brief meeting of the commission, maybe 2 weeks from now, for the sole purpose of looking at the submissions and making some choices. We will also want to look at how many boxes we will paint. It's become a little confused because we were funded. We planned on 3 for this year. 2 were done. One artist withdrew after reading the contract, the artist's contract. So we have the potential to do 4 boxes on the funding that we have available. So it's a new round of funding plus 1 left over from last year.
Is there a time frame that they need to be done by? I mean,
Well, the time frame that I've had in mind and used last fall was that if, for painting with latex paint, that needs to be done before we get until we get into very cold weather. So I would say, through October and maybe sneaking into November, uh, that it would be feasible. There's always the potential to do what we did last year and postpone until the spring there, but we're sort of squashed for time here because I was waiting for approval of the revised contract, and that finally came, maybe a month ago.
can any of these be used for, I know that you mentioned that, I think in the Mill District, they were interested in having something painted and they would pay for it. Are they interested? I mean, can that be folded into this?
That can be folded in. There are 3 opportunities. One is the Mill District, if they're still interested. The other is the Oyster House Restaurant. There's a box behind there. property on the parking lot. It's pretty ugly. It's got like 50 years worth of stickers on it. And then the Business Improvement District director told me back in the spring that they would be interested in funding one or more additional boxes. There is, for example, one, not a traffic control box, but an electrical box of the same size on the town common.
I have another question. Since I've
Yeah.
never seen one of these submissions, are people submitting something that actually um is a draft of what they're gonna paint in
Yes.
Envision? It's not just a
Yes.
description, it's
No,
actually
it's a illustration. Now they tend to range from partial sketches with some color in them to full renditions.
okay.
And so the the submission, you can look at that in the call for artists page on our website. It just says send an email with an artist statement and your and an illustration of what you intend to paint. And that's given us a good basis in the past. And that's really as elaborate as this has ever been in terms of soliciting um, proposals.
Okay.
So what I will send you Monday when this closes is a copy of the email and a copy of the illustration that each um, entrant has given us. Okay, mindful of the time and of the fact that we have a person waiting. I'm going to go now. I'm going to stop sharing this page. And I'm trying to open the participants box here.
If you go on the participants and then there's panelists and then it says attendees, you should
Yeah,
see something on the right to be able to let her in.
that's the way it should be working. When I click on participants, I'm only seeing invite and copy invite link. At the beginning of the meeting, I did see the full display.
If you click on it, will it come up in your right-hand corner? If you click on just participants, not the arrow, just the participants.
Clicking on participants and
The control should open up on the right. Control box.
Okay, yes, finally. Okay. All right, so Hilda Greenbaum, I'm going to bring you in as a panelist here. Ah, at last. Hilda, welcome.
Thank you. I'm here for two reasons. One, representing a reporter for the AmherstIndy.org, and I'm also representing Ms. Stryker, who couldn't come to the meeting. And I'm sorry it was finally on the agenda. I want to know why one committee that gave her money more than 2 years ago to design a sculpture for the North Amherst Library out of artifacts found on the site from the historical shoe horseshoe burial on the site, offered to make this wonderful sculpture for the residents of North Amherst, and she's been approved, got the money from Amherst Cultural Council. Why is it not built yet? Why is it taking you a whole year of emails and nothing happens? It's not fair to somebody who's offering their talents and their time to the town that she should get such a runaround.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier in this meeting, I'm going back and compiling a factual record of what the deliberations were, when, et cetera, what communications were had with Ms. Stryker. That document, which I will send to you also, and which we will make available publicly to the town, will show that uh, the Public Art Committee, the Public Art Commission, us, when we looked at the submission, we had some reservations about appropriate approvals that did not appear to be there, approvals from the town.
The
Uh,
town gave it to her. The
one
town gave her
committee,
money.
one committee gave it to her. That's not that is not the whole concept of public art is that the town needs to have a certain control over what it accepts as public art and takes possession of as public art and maintains as public art. And so there are conversations that need to be had around that. The commission also had some reservations about the artistic merit of the project. We um, we will most likely need to bring this back onto our agenda for a fresh look and to give Ms. Stryker the opportunity to address the concerns that we've had and give ourselves the opportunity then to take a fresh decision on it.
Why didn't this happen 2 years ago? Why didn't this happen
Well,
before
for
the?
one thing, we had the committee, the commission had no um, path to follow. This was um, a new event. It was brought to us at the very last minute after Ms. Stryker had talked to many other people about it and thought that it was just a checkoff from us. But as we looked at it and began to investigate what we thought we needed to do, um, there were a lot of things we had to figure out.
Like what? Tell me. What do you have to figure out? Somebody
Well,
wants to put a sculpture
we have
on
to
a
figure out whether the town design board will approve her proposal, whether the Department of Public Works, which is responsible for the maintenance.
Wouldn't that happen when, before the grant was given to her?
Well, because she did not make those steps.
Nobody told her it was required,
Well,
presumably.
that's it. That's it. So this all got dumped in our lap, and we had to figure it out. And so
I
it's
See
taking a long
anything
time.
to figure out, frankly, and I think it's execrable that your committee has sit on it for more than a year and a half or longer, and you can't resolve it. What's the
Okay.
problem? You can
Okay.
get these stupid graffitis on an electric box, which I think is junk art. You can do that. Why can't you put a nice thing in that North Amherst wants? And a private person came up with the money to do the library. Same private person will probably have to pay for this too. Why can't you get your act together and get your
Okay.
do
We
it?
we we hear your comments and your criticism,
Well,
and
it's
that's
very loud because we in North Amherst don't seem to count for anything in this town. And we just keep getting all of the junk that nobody else wants, and we want something good, and you sit on it, you can't make it happen. And
okay.
that's why we're very angry up here.
Okay.
And
We've heard
like
your
some
comments.
action on this.
We've heard your comments. Did you have a second point you wanted to make?
No, I just said that this is going into the press. That's why I'm here tonight. And I will
Okay.
point out how totally ineffective the Public Art Commission is, because they can't get anything done that helps the people in the neighborhoods that want something. That doesn't cost the town anything other than this grant that they already got.
Okay. Well, as a reporter for the Indy, um, that's your right and your function.
That's exactly right. But I think the I'm not going to go any further. You got the message that get on this thing and get it done already.
Okay. We've heard your comments and we thank you.
Well, I'm not thanking you until you get it done. And
That's okay. That's fair enough.
I hope
That's
you
fair
do
enough.
it by lifetime, okay? And
Okay.
I don't have much time left.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay. So I will proceed as I said before. I'll finish up this write-up. One of the difficulties is that, and I discussed this with Paul Bockelman too, is that when we wrote an email, that is um, Terry wrote an email, Terry Holt, who was chair at the time, when we wrote an email to Ms. Catherine Stryker, telling her that we did not approve the project, that was not, we did not have a formal motion and vote on that. We were working from a consensus, but I think in terms of, and Paul thinks too, in terms of fairness, we have to take a fresh look at what we did, what we said, etc. So we can do that. We can look at that
Is
once
there
I
an
get that.
is there an approved site for this already?
No, what
no,
I can share of what I remember is that we had a lot of questions about the project, in terms of its siting, in terms of how the Amherst Public Works Department would interface with it, how that would be managed. We were still at a time where we were working on what would be the regulations for accepting art that was gifted to the town of Amherst for public art as opposed to a outreach and competition.
Yeah.
And we wrote back to the artist and asked for her to that we needed we needed input from Public Works and from the town, and that she had not actually been in contact with either of those.
Mhm.
And we needed her to do that. and we never heard anything back from her.
So is
And
this
so,
sculpture already exist? Has she
no,
used money to
no,
create
it
it?
was a proposal. It was a proposal, and she received money from the Council for the Arts for the project. Um,
But she hasn't built anything yet? Is it
No.
no,
site
And
no.
she'd also need to raise more money for the actual construction. It was going to be a welded steel sculpture made either partially or entirely from horseshoes.
Yeah.
And it
And the
was,
location, we had some questions about the location and safety of the installation at that particular location. Um, so there needed to be input from the town, and we asked for her to follow up on those things, those we needed to hear
Mhm,
back from her, and she never got back to us. So when the deadline kind of came, we said we can't, we haven't heard back. We need, I think
mhm,
Terry wrote this
yeah.
her
Mhm,
saying we haven't received this information back, and we need that in order to proceed. And also in the way that that was handled, we can't just because there was when we wrote up our what we want to be our bylaws, um, it doesn't include, there have to be different criteria, because if
Mhm.
someone, anyone, not this person necessarily, but any person comes to the town and applies for a grant from the town council, from the not town council, from the uh, council, like the Arts Council, and they get, $800 to do a public art piece in town, and then they raise money for it, and it's put it for a particular location, that doesn't mean they necessarily can put the piece up.
Okay.
Because that could be anything. And so it's not that this project didn't have its merits, it just we never got the information we needed in order to really proceed with it. So we declined it at the time. It's come
Mhm.
back around again.
Mhm.
And that's my understanding of where we are
yes,
with
yeah,
it.
Well,
I agree.
it seems, it's when we only meet once a month, I can see how things can take a long time. And I would be
Yeah.
happy if there's a smaller group who want to focus on this project in between those monthly meetings, so it
Yeah,
doesn't, I mean, you can wait and wait just to meet. So
yeah,
I'd be happy to be part of an ad hoc committee that could try to move this
yeah.
along.
Well,
And
let's,
Dara was very involved in that at the time too. So, and I think she made some good points uh,
mhm,
in how to think about it. So I think the document around, how these decisions are made within the our group, it's very important for us to get that out and published.
yeah.
Well, it
This,
sounds like
that's,
the initial money she got was jumped the gun, and so to speak.
yes,
Yeah,
That,
her process was not according to the process that we've laid out going forward. And I think people are upset, obviously, and something will get written, and we'll probably need to do a reply to it when it comes out of, what our
mhm,
position is and how things have kind of gotten drawn out. And it's not really that, this thing it wasn't, the funding was going to have to be a thing that happened after it was approved. So it's not,
well, having
I
the
mean,
link of emails
there
is
are two
going to be
sides
important.
to it, obviously, so, or
yeah.
more, many more. We could go
Okay,
on,
well,
we don't need to,
but
but
yeah, everyone should take a look at the compendium of information that I will send to you. As I said, I'm maybe halfway through it. And I'll try to get that out in the next day or two to you. So take a look at that. I think we will need to bring it back onto our agenda. And um, I'll also say that this whole episode was for me one of the driving reasons to get that mission and policies document written so that we wouldn't be caught with no base to work from
Mhm.
again in the future. And quite frankly, um, the a a plan or prioritization for placement of art in places in the town could also play a role in that. I'm not saying that it is something to do just because of this incident, but it's an example of how, we're playing catch up when somebody has an idea for an artwork and a place that they want to put it, and they've gotten some local support for it. And so then what do we do? What's our role
Mhm.
at that point?
Is the North Amherst Library considered town property? Like I know we're
Yes.
saying Jones Library, their funding is not
Well, in both
necessarily
cases,
town.
I believe the way it goes is that the land belongs to the town. The institution of the library is kind of a mixed entity that gets some town money, town maintenance support and such, but it's not a department of the town.
Okay.
And my understanding would be that if we were to approve acceptance of the work, Paul Bockelman would have the final say.
Yes, he would have the final say on that. Just to give, not to draw this out um, unnecessarily, but to give an example of why it's important that the right legal and procedural steps are taken. Here's an example. Let's say that this sculpture gets built and it was going to be just inside the sidewalk, just inside the sidewalk. Yeah, therefore very close to the side of the road. Excuse me. So let's say a car swerves off the road, across the sidewalk, and demolishes the sculpture. Under federal and state law, the artist is entitled to demand that the town restore the sculpture at its expense. The town does not want to be in that position. And so the artist contract, this was the topic of contention or not contention, but need for clarification that took a long time to get, was that the artist contract, which would need to be signed for this work too, um, specifies that um, the artist must waive those rights to have the artwork restored at their discretion. It instead will be the town's discretion. That came from the Boltwood Poetry Boxes experience, where the artist um, I don't know all the details, so I won't go into that. I don't want to go down a wrong path here. But that is what the town lawyers evoked, where there was not clarity over whose responsibility it would be to restore something that's broken.
Mhm.
So that's just one example of uh, what the public part of public art brings along. Also, if there were to be if a person climbing on it were to get hurt, who's liable? Or and was, that was the artwork an attractive nuisance. I'm not saying that the horseshoe sculpture would be, but I worked on a project at Keene State College that involved a selection of a work of public art. And the director of physical plants said at the first committee meeting, he said, I can simplify this. We have to decline half of these proposals because of the danger of children climbing on them and potentially getting hurt. The college just can't accept that. So the town's in the same situation there. So that's why it's not just up to us to decide whether we like something or agree with something or not, but we have to be, it's our job to have the procedures and the process set. We don't want the town or the lawyers coming back in 3 years saying, who approved this? Who committed the town to this? And what process did they follow? So that's what it is.
Who's who's responsible for working on the policies and the mission? Because it seems like that might be something we'd want to accelerate.
Well, that was Dara volunteered to do that. As I said, I will send everybody a copy of the latest draft. Let's see whether we're just within a few sentences of being able to finish it. It'll be very helpful if we can be at that stage. But
I think we were really close.
we were really close. We were really close on that. It sort of got crowded off our agenda because we had to prepare for the town council meeting on the percent for art.
I think it'd
So
be good to
I'm
have
gonna
something to
need
point to.
sign off at some point soon. I guess I had a couple of things. One is the Boltwood project. We did talk, and I don't want it to get lost on the agenda, and I haven't been by there to look at it, but to at least change the signage there. So I don't want to get that to
Yeah.
get lost.
Mhm.
Because it's outdated and it doesn't reflect well. So that's
Right.
one thing. I also have concerns about the proceeding with how things are going to proceed with the percent for art project, because it sounds like it's getting delayed with this advisory committee in order to hire someone who really can step in and do things with a knowledge base that that we're not able as a committee to do.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that that can move forward as quickly as possible. And I also understand that this, we publishing, getting this document ready and submitting it for Paul Bockelman to approve of our,
Mhm.
what our procedures are is
Yeah.
really important.
I think those three are a good, good summation of priorities for us. Okay. My inclination, I'm losing my voice as you hear, also getting a bit tired. I propose that we end the meeting here for tonight. Does anybody have a last comment, suggestion, or request?
Oh,
Okay.
you need to unmute, Lynn.
Matt, I'll read through your document. Give me a week or so to go through it. I'll put my thoughts to it and I'll reach out to you and see if there's a time we could get together. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Lynn second.
Okay, Lynn seconds. Okay, show of hands. Aye to adjourn. Okay, we have voted to adjourn. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Watch your email. I'll be sending some stuff. Matt will be sending some stuff too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See y'all.